And we're back for episode 65 of The Horror Guys. I'm Kevin.
I'm Brian.
And we're here to talk about horror movies. Sort of horror movies this week.
Sorta horror movies?
They weren't all horror movies. We were led to believe because Hammer's supposed to be, horror, and this one wasn't a horror movie, really.
If you were in the 1965s, it would have been terrifying. Today, it's
alienists,
just stupid.
Psychologists, alienists, it was scary.
The most terrifying thing in the late 1960s were psychiatrists.
Not nearly as scary now, like at all. This movie wasn't.
Insert Scientology joke here.
So anyway, let's talk about these movies.
All right. Well, we've got some more great modern horror. We'll begin with the brand new indie film, M.O.M, Mothers of Monsters, which is releasing the same day as this podcast. We'll also climb over to where The Spider-Woman Strikes Back from 1946. We'll take in a little bit of Hysteria from 65. And then devour some Chawz from 2009.
Or Chaw, as it is sometimes known as.
Or if you're Korean, Chawoo.
Yes. It's got 3 alternate titles. Here I think it was released as Chawz in the United States.
It was Chawoo in Korean. Then it was released
Chawz,
widely as Chaw.
C-H-A-W-Z.
And now with the Z on the end. And you'll find out why it sounds like Chawz when we get to it.
Mm-hmm. So,
are you ready?
Go.
Okay, well here we go.
M.O.M.
That spells M.O.M.
Mom,
right.
Yes.
Mothers of
Monsters. What a bunch of crazy people in this movie.
Yeah, they need a psychiatrist.
Oh, everybody in this one did.
Mostly spoiler-free. Directed by Tusha Lyman, written by her also. Stars Melinda Page Hamilton, Edward Asner, and Julian de la Salle. And there is a link in the show notes if you want to take a look at this one.
Ed Asner's ancient now, isn't he? He looked it in this movie. He's up there. How old is Ed Asner?
692.
Oh, he is not that old. Do you know he was the actor in Up? Everybody
knows that, yes. I think so.
We'll talk about something.
He was old then.
Yeah. Okay, born in 1929, so that's why he looks about 80, because he is 81.
Good math. Okay.
No, that's 1929.
Didn't know if you had your phone, you could just, how old is it?
How old is that?
So what, 90 into what?
He's 90.
Ancient.
Yeah.
And looks at, you just count the age spots. All right, well, this film releases on March 13th, so you may have trouble finding it if you're right on top of the podcast, but it'll be out real soon if it's not.
They were nice enough to let us see it early.
Yeah. We start out with a mother watching an old video of when their very young son killed some animal. "Did you do this on purpose?" And the little kid looks up and says, "What's on purpose?" He's too young to even understand. But now we flash forward, and now that Jacob has gotten older and weirder, his mother has started recording his outbursts on video. She says that he destroyed 7 pairs of her high heels because he didn't like the sound high heels make. Oh, who does? Jacob has another story, that she was drunk and cut up her own shoes. And we can see on her computer that she has hundreds and hundreds of short videos of things he's done. She suspects that Jacob is going to... She can't even say it. He has an architect's drawing of the school floor plans and a bunch of gun magazines.
And she's kind of doing a video diary, talking to us.
Yeah.
And recording, talking to the camera.
And all her little videos are filed under the folder M.O.M, which stands for Mothers of Monsters.
Yeah.
Well, she tells the camera all of her concerns and then walks us through his bedroom. She wants to show us what's in his closet, but the door is locked. Always a bad sign when you lock your closet door to keep your mother out. She sets up a hidden camera in the living room so she can record better shots of her son.
Candid shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she takes away his PlayStation, and he realizes almost immediately that she's recording the whole thing. He freaks out about it, but soon apologizes and cleans up the mess himself. The psychiatrist seems more interested in talking about the mother than the son, so she fires the psychiatrist. Jacob seems completely normal to other people, and she says he's a very good actor. She later goes through his medicine chest to show us all his various drugs, and she samples some of his Adderall. Abby explains that way back, something happened to her baby brother, something that even her own mother doesn't want to talk about. The real question becomes obvious very quickly. Who is the crazy one, Jacob or his mother? Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
It kind of makes you wonder.
Well, you don't wonder it at the end.
Who's the crazy one?
Well, the production value here...
Not going to tell you.
The production value here is top-notch. The film is well shot, well acted, and looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Unlike most indie films, the sound here is very good. That's one of the things that usually messes up a lot of the films. Mm-hmm. And it really doesn't drag very much until the closet scene late in the film. Yeah. Which I thought went on just too long.
A little bit too long. Yeah.
I don't know what I'd cut out, but it just seemed like a really long scene.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Otherwise, the pacing is excellent. I would love to know how they got Ed Asner to do this. Even if he is only literally Skyping in his performance, it's still him, and he's still a fairly major star. On the other hand...
He wanted the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minor spoiler. Mm-hmm. There is a twist. But the big twist is really no surprise. I had an inkling while watching the trailer of what this twist was going to be. Mm-hmm. And I could see someone going in to see this unawares, being totally surprised by it. But this is a horror film, and horror fans look for the twists. Yeah. Everybody always says,
you've come to expect.
How is this going to twist around and surprise me in the end? And it's not really a big surprise when it does it.
And yet it is.
Anyone who's into horror is going to be looking for and expecting twists from the beginning. Still, there is enough doubt about who's doing what that it does stay interesting throughout.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Overall, I thought it was good, yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, a mighty fine indie film.
Yeah. Totally worth hour and a half or so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thumbs up.
Thumbs up, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then there's the next movie.
We go from a mighty fine indie film to a complete lame-o waste from a big studio. Hammer Classics' Hysteria from 1965.
I think they said, hey, this Hitchcock guy is hot right now. Let's try to copy him and copy his work.
That's exactly what it looks like from the credits in the beginning to the very end.
It's Hitchcockian, but it's not Hitchcock.
And I can't say what's different.
It was
very Hitchcocky.
Yeah, I can't analyze films that intellectually to tell you, this is what Hitchcock did and this is what these people did, and but you can tell the difference. Even the layperson, it's not. But as a black and white, kind of mystery and and
very
amnesia
60s.
and medical and all the Hitchcocky things.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Hitchcock. It was a Hammer film trying to be whatever.
Directed by Freddie Francis, written by Jimmy Sangster, stars Robert Webber, Anthony Newlands, and Jennifer Jane. 1 hour, 25 minutes. There is a link in the show notes if you should choose to subject yourself to this. Well, Chris is an American, telling his story to what appears to be a psychologist. He doesn't remember anything before 4 months ago when he found himself on the side of the road. He was injured in a car accident. Someone is now anonymously, mysteriously sending money every week for his treatment, and now they've sent him a map and key, and they want him to go there and stay. He has an unlabeled picture of a girl torn out of a magazine. Is it his wife? His girlfriend? Just a random photo?
Don't know.
He kisses the nurse goodbye, and she cries that he's leaving the hospital. They've obviously gotten very close in 4 months.
Very friendly.
First, he hires a private detective to find out who the woman is, who the benefactor is, and most importantly, who he is. He takes a taxi to the address on the card, and it's the penthouse suite in a large building that's still mostly under construction or remodeling.
And it's a really nice apartment. Yeah.
It's a very 1960s apartment, straight out of Mad Men.
Because it's 1965.
And I was thinking, that looks like Don Draper's apartment.
Oh, yeah.
It does.
Yeah, big money and
yeah. And we take a long and lingering walk through the place. It takes like 5 minutes to walk through this apartment and see everything. They were proud of that apartment.
It's big, yeah.
And the layout is kind of important later on.
Yeah.
Well, that night he hears a screaming fight in the next door apartment, but the rooms over there are under construction and no one lives there.
So it It's a mystery.
He hears the elevator go down, and he chases it down the stairs, but he never finds anyone. He tracks down the girl in the photo, and it turns out she was murdered several months ago. Stabbed repeatedly in the very penthouse where Chris is staying. He then sees that same girl on the walk home, alive and well.
See, so there's a bit of a mystery going on. Like
No one else
like
sees
Hitchcock
her.
would do.
No one else sees her or the car. Is he insane?
Or somebody trying to make him think he is.
Or, as the title says, is
he
just
hysterical?
The detective comes by and says that he's quitting the case. He's talked to the psychiatrist, who told him that Chris is unreliable and may be seeing hallucinations. That night, he hears the argument again and goes next door to investigate. He finds no one there, but the shower is turned on and there's a bloody knife on the floor. Dun, dun, dun. Then the woman, who introduces herself as Denise, comes into his room. Her husband was the driver of the other car in the accident, and the photograph must have belonged to him. She also says she's only been in town for an hour, so he couldn't have seen her before. She admits that she's been paying for his treatment, and she owns the entire building. She's gotten this apartment ready as soon as she heard he was getting out of the hospital. And he tells her about the voices, and about her being supposedly dead, and she doesn't know anything about any of that. He shows her the place next door, but now there's no knife and the shower is dry. They go out to dinner, and we see that the detective is now following him. Or them.
He's still on the case.
He takes his pills and flashes back to him in France, sleeping with a hooker, who then robs him, and when her husband comes in. He jumps out the window into a stranger's sports car and races away. There's a quick travel montage, and he and the girl end up in England. He dumps the girl and hitches a ride with a strange man. There's an accident, and we see Chris thrown from the vehicle. He remembers it all, but he's still not sure why he was there doing those things in the first place. At one part, he starts hearing the shouting from next door again, but the words this time are coming out of his own mouth. He's saying the words as he hears them. He then watches himself stab Denise. He wakes up and finds her body. Just as the detective said, she died months ago.
Well, that's trippy, isn't it?
Could things get any more twisted? Yes, they can.
Yes, they can, and they do.
And they do, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hysteria.
Yeah.
Well, what scared people the most in the 1960s? Apparently it was psychologists.
Well, and, being accused of being crazy and, being trapped and, losing your mind. And,
yeah. Even during the credits, I got the impression that they were trying to do Hitchcock on a Hammer budget. It's got murder, amnesia, strange women, international travel, and lots of intrigue. Chris hears that the girl was murdered right there in town a few months ago, and it seems like even before the internet, that would be an easy thing to verify and track down the girl's name. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't even verify that she was really dead.
That's the detective's job.
How many times have you seen people go to the town library and say, "Can you help me find this?" And they bring up microfilm or old newspapers. It's doable. He doesn't even try. Doesn't even make a phone call. Well, it's not really a whodunit or a proper mystery, as you have no way of guessing what was going on until it was explained at the end. It's certainly only remotely horror. It's definitely much more of a mystery or psychological drama than anything else. This was probably really popular in the 60s, but is very dated and formulaic today.
Didn't stay a classic like Hitchcock did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had psychiatrists in the 60s, so it qualifies as horror back then, I guess.
Yeah.
Today, not so much.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah. Well, you want to watch a short?
Sure.
What is it?
Daddy's Girl.
Daddy's Girl from 2020.
She's a good girl.
Directed and written by Jed Hart, stars Stephen Patton, Amelia Childs, and Ben Worth. 10 minutes and 39 seconds. YouTube link below. All right. Did you like it?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yep, this is one worth checking out.
It doesn't explain it. It really doesn't explain anything, but it's very creepy. A girl rides her old bicycle down a dirt road. Meanwhile, a policeman leaves the station and begins the drive home. He gets a phone call in the car, and soon he loses the cell signal, which is never a good thing in these films.
But it always happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, he gets distracted, of course, and almost runs over the bicycle, which is now laying in the road. There's no girl to be found. See, I thought he hit her, and he'd find her off in the bushes somewhere, and maybe that's what he thought, too.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Well, that's why
that's
he
not
followed
what
the
happened.
trail.
Yeah. Well, the policeman gets out of the car with his flashlight and goes looking for the bicycle's owner in the woods. He follows some footprints and eventually finds the girl's scarf. The woods start
With a
getting
name on
thicker.
it.
Yeah.
So then he called her by name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The woods start getting thicker and there are bugs everywhere. But he continues his search. Then he comes upon a house. He goes inside and looks around, which may not be the smartest decision he's ever made.
We're not going to tell you more than that.
No, we are not. Now, this is sharp. The music and pacing are perfect. That said, it's very dark, even in the scenes outdoors in the countryside, where it should not be that dark.
You wouldn't want to try watching this on a bright sunny day with a lot of sun coming in the window.
Have you read my review? You know from the beginning that something bad is going to happen, but it just does not go the way you'd expect. It's very creepy, moody, and well done. Just be sure to watch it in a really dark room.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if the whole thing's got a black filter on it to make it look darker.
Even darker than dark.
It was darker than it should have been, I think.
Yeah.
Well, what did we watch next?
The Spider Woman Strikes Back. We saw that merely moments ago. From 1946, a black and white. Ended up having to watch it off YouTube. Was the only place we
Not
could
available
find it
anywhere
tonight.
else easily.
It's one of those that just never made it to anything else from what we could tell.
Potato quality on YouTube.
Might be some collection out there or something that it's available, but we couldn't find it.
But it's only 57 minutes, so even on YouTube, it's not so bad.
And it's not. I've seen worse. I've seen worse quality cuts.
Yeah.
So it's a bad copy, but it's not awful.
Often on YouTube.
Yeah.
It seemed like the archive.org ones are the worst.
Archive.org, yeah. Those are the most particular.
So low quality there. And I don't know if there's some rule why that is, or just people filmed them a long time ago before cameras were good.
Yep, I think that's it.
All right, well, this one's from 1946, directed by Arthur Lubin, written by Eric Taylor, stars Gail Sondergaard, Brenda Joyce, Kirby Grant, and Rondo Hatton. 57 minutes. YouTube link in the show notes to watch it for free. Just go and watch it, no trick to it. Did you like it?
No. Did you?
It was all right. It was very generic. It was all right. If you got an hour to kill and you're wanting to watch an old movie,
of it.
okay, wow,
That says it all.
alrighty. If you got an hour to kill and you're wanting to watch an old movie, there are worse ones to watch. This is definitely a kill an hour type movie. It was entertaining, but it was very predictable. Well, Jean comes in on the bus and runs into Hal on the street. She's going to work here in the little town of Domingo, a population of 1492. That's a little town. She's going to be Miss Zenobia's caretaker. Zenobia's doctor ordered her to take a rest, and Miss Zenobia keeps going through caretakers in rapid succession. It seems Zenobia caught some strange affliction in South America, and now she's blind.
Jean's doctor ordered her to take a rest. You misspoke.
Yes, she did.
Yeah. And so she's off to this idyllic little town for a cushy job assisting a blind person.
Gonna sit in a little town and watch the tractors go by.
Yep. And read to the blind woman.
Reading the tractors go by. That's a lead into the next movie we're going to be talking about. Yeah, so she was in South America, caught some weird tropical disease, which, I don't know, made her blind somehow, and she's back. Well, Jean goes to meet Zenobia, and she's already afraid of Mario the creepy butler. Things appear to go very well between the two women that evening. And Mario the creepy butler on IMDb, if you look it up, it's Mario the Monster Man is what he's called. They never call him that in the movie. I don't know where that came from. But wow, nice.
Yeah.
The next morning, Jean comes down for breakfast, and she says she slept really well. And the previous nurse left because she didn't like Mario, but Zenobia won't get rid of him because he'd never be able to find work elsewhere. And besides, the nurse really left because she married some guy down in Florida.
And have you said who that was? Who plays the
Mario is Rondo
and
Hatton.
why he's got that name? Yeah.
Well, it's Rondo Hatton, the monster without makeup.
The big brute guy.
Yeah, the same guy from last week's episode with the great big face and the huge nose and chin, acromegaly, and yeah, he's a creepy looking dude. Here he's a mute. He does sign language a couple of times, but he doesn't really speak, ever. Okay, so yeah, she won't get rid of him because he couldn't find work elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Jean then mentions that she's attached and isn't going to run off to get married. Nobody even knows I'm here, she said.
Except for Hal.
Never go to a little town and tell people that. Except for Hal, yeah.
Hal knows. Yeah.
That night, Jean drinks her spiked milk like a good girl, and then here's...
And we had no inkling that was spiked, you know.
No, never saw that coming.
Not obvious at all.
Here, drink this milk. It's good for you. And she hears tapping coming from inside her bedroom wall. Tapping, just like a blind woman with a cane.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as we'll see later, she's not really blind, so what was the point of that tapping in the walls?
I don't know why she was doing that. Just to be weird, I guess.
Because we didn't know at this point that she wasn't really blind.
Well,
I guess it was just to fool us, not her.
Yeah, I guess. But she kept doing it. She did it after, too. Well, didn't she do it again one more time?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
got issues.
Weird and excessive, yeah.
Okay, Zenobia then comes into Jean's bedroom after she goes to sleep and takes her blood. Afterwards, she can see. She likes feeding spiders to her meat-eating plants.
Well,
and
not
then
afterwards she can see.
Well,
she could see the whole time.
At the time, I thought that she did something with the blood and made it cure her vision. No, she was faking the whole time.
It was clear when she was drawing the blood out, she was looking at the syringe and various things, and yeah.
I didn't pick it up right away, but yeah, it becomes obvious later.
Big old faker. That's what she is, a faker.
Which, there's got to be easier ways to get blood than pretend you're blind all day. Afterwards, she can see. She likes feeding spiders to her meat-eating plants, and then she feeds the blood to her plants as well. That's the purpose of draining Jean's blood. She wants to feed it to her plants. Of course, there's animal blood. Take a little bit from Rondo and a little bit from herself. She didn't have to keep killing the servants.
But she's evil.
Yeah, she is.
And her plants are thirsty.
She mashes up the blossom from one of the plants and makes something with it. This then goes on for several days, being repeated. Mario the butler starts to like Jean and doesn't want her killed like the others. Random cattle in town start dying, but there's no disease that anyone can find. They suspect that the milk is poisoned, because a little boy dies who drank a lot of milk.
Yeah, the milk from the cows.
The cows are eating something that's poisoning them and giving poison
and passing it on to the cow. Yeah, the cows are not drinking milk. The cows are giving poisonous milk. Yeah.
Wait, the cows make the milk? They don't drink the milk first?
That's why the one guy's daughter was sick. And yeah, they mentioned kids getting sick because they were drinking the cow.
I'm messing with you. I've seen cows before.
I know, and I'm totally ignoring it. Yeah.
Okay, so Jean eventually refuses to drink the milk, and she stays up late one night.
This is different milk. It's not the poison milk.
It's drugged
milk.
Somehow, yeah.
Sedative-laced milk.
Yeah, so there's a lot of milk in
So
this.
she sleeps soundly so they can draw blood at night without her noticing.
Yeah.
So she doesn't notice the sore arm in the morning apparently either, or the puncture wound or anything.
1946 I'll bet they probably didn't have such wonderful blood drawing equipment as they have today.
It was a little cruder.
Yeah. Well, you've seen them with the little pump thing that they use in those old movies. I would not want that. Yeah. Okay, so she stays up late, finds Zenobia's cane without Zenobia anywhere nearby. Does a blind person leave their cane behind? She then goes out looking for Zenobia, but does not find her. In town the next day, numerous farmers say that they're selling out because of the recent cow plague. Some farmers can't even sell their land for $1 an acre. Finally, Jean figures out that Zenobia is not blind at all. Zenobia shows Jean her plants and explains that her rare plants are creating a special, untraceable poison that she's been using to poison the cows and drive away the farmers.
See, her
wants to buy the land.
Her family used to own all this land, and her uncle squandered it away, and she wants it back.
So if you want to create a murderer, squander the family fortune. Zenobia tells Hal that Jean has left town, gone on the train. Actually, she's locked in the basement. Hal figures out that Jean didn't leave, And he just doesn't believe her is all. There's no evidence. And Zenobia knows that he knows. She orders Mario to burn everything, which he does. As the fire rages, the plants grab Zenobia and Mario, while Hal rescues Jean heroically. The two bad guys burn up, and the two good guys get married and run off.
Yeah, these plants move. You
can see the plants
when she's
moving.
feeding them. The bulbs move to slurp down the blood, and when
they
she
eat
was
the spiders,
and they were twining around her arm while she was feeding them, and she's like petting them, like, oh my precious this. And well, then when they're burning up, they latch onto her firmly and don't let her go.
Did you find any good trivia on this one?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, I did.
Okay, what did you find?
Well, several years earlier, there's a Sherlock Holmes story. Curse of the Spider Woman, or something like that, yeah. Which had the same woman who is Gail Sondergaard as the Spider Woman. And apparently she was a very popular villainess in that movie, and she did something with spiders in that one too. And it really blew up. It was a really big hit. And I guess Rondo Hatton was in that one as well. So it was the two of them were both in that.
And they tried to cash in on this, didn't they?
And this was the same two actors, completely different characters, completely different plot, completely different name, but it had the two actors.
Woman.
And she played with spiders in both movies, so they called this Revenge of the Spider Woman. And I guess audiences were not pleased.
They were not amused.
They were expecting a legitimate sequel, and this was just a cash grab with the actors. Did not go over well.
Bastards.
Where you go read the reviews, half and half. Half people enjoyed it, half people really tear into it because they were expecting something else. And Revenge of the Spider Woman, that sure sounds like a sequel.
Implies a sequel.
I know before we watched this, I double and triple checked to make sure, wait a minute, where's the first one?
There's not.
No.
Okay.
It's a Sherlock Holmes, it's not a horror. Well, all this trouble for a real estate scheme. Lex Luthor would be proud. You'd think if the plant simply needed blood, that there would have been an easier way to do it. Really, would you want to play blind like 19 hours a day, pretend to be blind just so you can feed your plants? And what happened after she bought up all those other farmers' lands? Suddenly she was going to be able to see again?
Yeah, she said that. Yeah, she said after I've acquired all the land, I will miraculously regain my sight.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, miraculously.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Well, Gail Sondergaard is really creepy as the smarmy and evil villainess, and smarmy's a good word for her. She's all, yeah. Rondo Hatton is there to watch, but he doesn't say a word and could have been played by just about anyone.
Yeah.
Jean and Hal are played by generic, good-looking young people, but are completely forgettable otherwise. I don't remember what their name of the actors were, and they never really did much anything that I've seen afterwards, so, yeah, okay.
Cool poster.
It's always the villains
like
that are the interesting ones. The poster
on this one's very cool. Yeah.
There's the Spider Woman and Mario the Monster Man.
Spider Woman Strikes Back.
The
it's
main
not Revenge of the Spider
two main young people. Who's the girl stretched out? That's nobody.
Oh, that's supposed to be the young gal.
You mean her?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's for the sex.
They liked her so much they put her on the cover
twice. It's for the sex
twice.
appeal, so young men will see the poster and say, "Hey, there's a hot babe in this movie. I want to go see that."
Yep.
Yeah, it's sexploitation.
Yeah.
Advertising.
Well, speaking of hot babes in films, how about Chawz?
How about
You like your girls porky?
Hmm.
Yeah, no, and don't call me Porky.
Real big.
Yeah, this is about a giant hog.
Yeah, a boar.
Like Hog Hunters last week.
But it was a pretty good movie. It wasn't a boring movie.
No, this was good. Yeah. This is called Chaw, or Chawz with a Z, C-H-A-W-Z. Chawz rhymes with what?
Jaws.
Yeah, it does. From 2009. It's Korean subtitled, but it's really good, even if you don't like subtitles. Directed by Jung Wong Shin, and written by him and Kim Young Shol. Stars Tai Woong Yam, Seong Kwa Ha, and Yu E Ha.
It's worth it, dude, watching these Asian movies
just so I can say the
you
names.
say the Asian names.
2 hours and 1 minute. YouTube link in the usual place, or Amazon link in the usual place. All right. Did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
I did too. Yeah, this was good.
Liked this one quite a bit.
So, surprisingly
humorous.
Hollywoodish.
Yeah.
It was well lit, very well produced, and very funny. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, if you
Very
saw this on Tubi.
Dark comedy.
Tubi is a free app. I guess you can watch it on your phone or your iPad or your computer. And we watched it on the Apple TV.
And there's commercials. They have commercial inserts.
I think there was 2 commercial breaks in the entire movie, and they were both for like detergent or something. They weren't bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a link below to pick it up somewhere. It's worth it.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we're told early on through news reports as credits roll that wild animals are being abused and hunted by poachers, and their food sources are drying up. Then we see a man fall down a ravine and find a dead body. He pulls a gold ring off the man's finger, but then is attacked and eaten himself. The next morning, the police are on the scene. The dead body was just buried 2 days ago, but someone dug him up and moved him.
Something dug him up.
Well, it's moderately fresh meat. And it turns out this is Officer Kim's last week in Seoul. He's accidentally been transferred to a small country station. He filled out his transfer form. He asked him, where do you want to go? And he put any.
For, second choice.
Who does that?
Anywhere, yeah.
Anywhere but here.
So they send him anywhere.
Yeah, this is a town of like 100 people and nothing happened. Everybody keeps joking that he's there to watch the tractors. At dinner, he finds a pig tooth in his dinner, and we see just how big that pig tooth is. It's like that big.
Yeah.
Then we see a girl run her bicycle off the road, and she hears the monster and runs away, right into the path of an oncoming truck. The 2 drivers of the truck are drunk and don't want to get caught, so they throw her not quite dead yet body down the hill, and she wakes up just as the creature is dragging her away and eating her.
Yeah. A grisly end.
Yeah, the chief of police in the new town takes an immediate liking to Kim's senile mother, and Kim meets his new crazy neighbors. Most of this doesn't really go anywhere.
No, but lots of amusing characters.
Yeah, a lot of good characters.
Colorful characters.
Yeah. The mother's baddie,
and
yeah, and so's the neighbor.
Yeah.
Well, the police find the girl's body half-eaten, and the autopsy says it was done by a large animal. The girl's grandfather is a very experienced hunter, and he thinks it is an enormous animal.
Yeah, he's really the one that thought it was an animal first.
Yeah. Then the tourist buses arrive for the big festival, and what could possibly go wrong?
And was this about the point where we started to strongly notice the similarities?
As soon as the
Chawz?
Tourists started showing up, we like, oh, wait a minute, this is Chawz.
Yeah.
And it was.
Because, how in Chawz, the town council and the mayor didn't want
we got to
this
keep this
big
quiet.
Tourist thing, so we got to keep this animal attack quiet, and we'll just tell the police
keep it
to
quiet
cover it up
till the tourist season is over.
Till the big event is over. We don't want to drive the tourists away.
And then there's other scenes later on.
There's other bits and pieces here and there that will remind you of Chawz.
It doesn't take long until we find out what could go wrong. Yeah. Could it be a giant boar that has developed a taste for human meat? A squad of hired mercenary hunters arrive, and things go about like you'd expect. And that's where my details. That's where my details stop.
We're gonna need a bigger boat. No, they're not on a boat.
But there's a scene later on where they kill a boar. And they all swear, oh, this is the one, this is the one.
Like in Chawz, where they caught the shark, and it was the smaller shark.
And the hunter's like, no, this boar is too small. Let me cut it open and look at its stomach.
And we so wanted him to pop out a license plate.
All he did was pop out live chickens.
Yeah.
Or dead chickens.
And other things. Yeah, too.
No license plate.
No license plate, but it was a perfect opportunity for it. Yeah.
You could go beat by beat through Chawz and lay it over this movie, and it's the same. They just changed the details.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of humor here. The cops repeatedly falling down the hill, the fish in the pot that wouldn't die, the hand that wouldn't let go of the magazine, and all that was just the first 20 minutes. The story has really strong parallels to Chawz.
Wouldn't go as far as to say they plagiarized it, but boy,
they took the outline. They took the outline and changed a few details. They crossed out shark and put in pig.
Ocean, mountain.
Yeah, this is Chawz in the hills.
Boat,
but
truck.
It's good.
It is good. Yeah.
The village elders try to cover up the deaths just as tourist season starts. It's all brightly lit, clear, and very funny. The humor comes through clearly even with subtitles.
And yet it's
Sometimes,
still grim and gross too. There's plenty of blood and gore. And,
yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes you miss the so-called humor because it's subtitled and you're busy reading. Now, you get it all with this.
Mm-hmm.
This is really, really good. The horror aspects of the film are all done completely seriously. It's a serious horror film, but there's just so much silliness going on in the background that it stays really funny and humorous.
Yeah.
Totally a thumbs up for me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So.
Well, that's our show.
Yeah.
It's a short one. We zipped right through that one.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when your horror movies are under an hour sometimes. Well, thanks for joining us. Stop in at horrorguys.com, read our reviews before we could do the show. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Stitcher,
Give us a call.
Spotify, those places. Give us a call, 937-453-1575.
Operators are standing by.
Or voicemail is, whichever. At Horror Bulletin is our thing on, it's our handle on Facebook.
The Twitter thing.
The Twitter
thing.
tweet, yeah. We have an Instagram, which we're doing a lot with Instagram lately. And that is Horror Bulletin is the handle for that one. We still got some things with Horror Bulletin going. Are you ready for next week?
I'm ready.
Yeah, next week,
What are we going to watch?
we are going to watch the really, really old Behind the Mask from 1932, which I think is Boris Karloff.
Mm-hmm.
And then peek in on The Nanny from 1965. I don't think there's psychiatrists in that one. As well as two indie films.
Two indie films.
To be announced. Yeah. We actually have 3 or 4 of them. We're going to pick the good ones. So we can't tell you just yet which ones those are going to be.
Because we haven't seen them yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're indie films and there's piling them up. So if you're a movie producer, we'd love to see your stuff. Contact us at horrorguysmail@gmail.com. And we are always looking for short films,
Especially
indie films.
Especially when we can brag about being, seeing them early.
We see all the bad movies
like
first.
M.O.M.
Well, that wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad. No, I mean all the good movies. Yeah. What? It wasn't a bad movie.
I was joking.
Okay. Yeah.
We do see some really bad indie films that you never hear about.
We don't talk about those.
Yeah, we do.
We pretend those didn't. Well, we talk about them. But,
Did you see that stinker?
No.
Okay.
We're not going to be critics. We're going to be reviewers. So if
we've slammed some of them pretty hard. Suspiria.
But that's they can take it.
Possession.
We're not going to slam an indie movie like that.
Well, I tell you, if we had an indie movie as bad as Possession, that'd get a 0 on our scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, but we wouldn't review it.
We'd make a new scale. It's off the charts. We need a new chart.
Need a new chart.
Okay, well, I'm Brian.
I'm Kevin.
We'll see you next week.